With a heartbreaking breakup, a tragic diagnosis, a dramatic first kiss, and a cherished character undergoing possibly fatal surgery, Grey's Anatomy concluded 2025. One more week at Grey Sloan. Jo was feeling dyspnea at the start of the mid-season finale, and she was taking all the required precautions to ensure the health of her infants. In the end, she was relieved to have Ben and Winston at her side, even though she wasn't delighted that Link had called the head of cardiothoracic surgery to her bedside for a straightforward EKG. For Link's sake, she admitted that she was much more worried than she was letting on. Sadly, Jo's worries were far from over. Peripartum cardiomyopathy, or weakening of the heart muscle, was revealed by her EKG. The initial line of treatment was medication, and if that didn't work, a pump was used to support her heart. The physicians would have to deliver her infant 7 weeks ahead of schedule if all else failed. When the medication failed to work, Link hurried Jo into surgery, telling his new wife that Winston had done this procedure hundreds of times. He was correct, but he was unaware that additional complications would necessitate a C-section, which Winston hasn't done in years. Winston began what will hopefully be regarded in the future as a terrifying but effective delivery by cutting into Jo at the end of the episode. This couple has endured enough. Naturally, there were other characters whose lives were significantly altered this week than Jo and Link. After reading about the other surprises in the mid-season finale, rate the episode and leave a comment with your expectations for the show's return on. Richard receives heartbreaking news. For the entire hour, Bailey and Richard were constantly at odds. Initially, Bailey was upset that he had canceled her class without first contacting her, and this tension resulted in a subsequent operation. Richard encouraged her team to continue by saying, "Bailey, not everyone wants to give up." Ouch! She was about to call the accident victim's time of death. Bailey managed to keep the man alive despite a few more setbacks, but her joy was short-lived. Richard responded to Bailey's visit to his office to share the good news with some very unpleasant news of his own. "I have cancer," he told a slack-jawed Bailey. Although he didn't say what kind of cancer he has, we are very certain of the diagnosis based on the prostate cancer PSA that aired following the broadcast. Nora and Owen apply the brakes. When Teddy and the girls stopped by Owen's trailer at the start of the episode, they discovered him in bed with Nora. Both of Owen's children's questions were quite reasonable. Who are you? Where are your clothes? Teddy wanted to put the unpleasant situation behind her, but she was motivated to let it go after spending some time with the boyfriend of a cyclist who was having surgery following a bus accident. Although their circumstances are complex, Owen and Nora have her blessing and they are only human. Unfortunately, Nora isn't as optimistic about their relationship's future. She will need to be in regular contact with Teddy for the foreseeable future, due to her extremely particular medical issues, which will present a special challenge for the couple. Nora told Owen, "You're trying to divorce yourself from her, but I'm getting more entangled," concluding with a hopeful statement, "We found ourselves together a second time. Maybe we'll get a third." As Simone and Wes become closer, is she prepared? Wes had a chance to make amends in Simone's eyes when they collaborated to heal a nonverbal autistic youngster who had a head wound. Simone was truly amazed by Wes's ability to relate to the patient and make him feel comfortable enough to come to the hospital for treatment. This showed her a different aspect of Wes that she hadn't been letting herself see. Or perhaps Wes was just who Simone believed him to be. He immediately asked her out for drinks after she gave him a single compliment. He reminded her that they were alone in a supply closet when she rejected him. Hint, hint, like so many Grey couples before her, she thought about going straight for it, but in the end she declined. Simone and Jules's no-sex agreement is upheld in an instant. For the time being,